Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 19 Hours a New Workday. And we're going to go over Chapter 2 more on why the 19-hour workday exists. And we're going to get through the next two chapters pretty fast, 2 and 3. Then we're going to get to the heart of this book. So, in this chapter, I really wanted to throw down some statistics on millennials, on what's going on in this country, the environment that we're feeling right now, and it is pretty scary, man. It's pretty unsettling, and it's kind of a wake-up call for a lot of people, whether you have your own business or you are working for someone. It's tougher, and if you're working for someone, your employer is probably sweating a little bit, especially if it's a small business. So it's important that you stay on your A game and you're at peak performance, because you want to become so valuable to them that they'll never ever want to let you go. So let's look at some of the statistics in here and see where we're at. So I'm going to read a little bit from the beginning and take it from there. So I still see some of the people from my childhood from time to time, and I don't know one person who hustles to make a better living. They, they work, have fun on the weekend, and are okay with the status quo. Some people may find that acceptable. They're living their lives and enjoying their family. Well, I'm stopping right there. I know a lot of people, and it's okay for some people. They are just kind of in limbo and they don't even know it. Just think how many people sunk and went into bankruptcy in 2009 just because they were easy coasting it. And really their financials were like teeter-tottering and they went down the drain basically. I know a lot of people, a lot of businesses struggled and basically went out because of just either a small change or a big change in the economy. So you must really learn how to pivot and keep pushing forward. So let's keep going. They're living their lives and enjoying their family. Get real. As we learned in chapter 1, most Americans are cash poor and strapped with overwhelming debt. All right, that is so true. That is so true. It's unbelievable how we're living our lives, most of us. So a lot of us, for me, for many years, I was very cash poor, and I wouldn't pay myself, and I struggled with that concept. Is okay, I got to sink in all the money into the business, got to sink all the money into this, and now I pay myself first. That's the only way to do it. I pay myself first, and then I do whatever last. But myself comes first, because there's my family. We're going to take a look at millennials here. Millennials are the biggest generation in the United States, between 85 and 90 million individuals. That is a huge amount. And the funny thing is, most of them are educated. They went to college, and they have that experience. And what's going to be tough for some of the people that are working right now, that are not millennials, and these millennials are going to come after your position in whatever company you're with. They're educated. Some of them are motivated, and there's a lot of them. They'll work for cheap because most of them are living at home, or they might be living in an apartment with a few other people. I further explained that how a lot of them are pushing back what a normal, typical adult markers of achievement and progress is. So a lot of them are doing that, and a lot of them have an overwhelming amount of debt. So they're already coming out of college with an overwhelming amount of debt because college tuition went up, and you'll kind of see that right now. You kind of see that there's an election year, and one of the candidates is offering free college tuition. Of course, that sounds good for a lot of people that are in college, and especially to the millennials. But really, who's going to be paying for that? We really got to think about that. We got to watch that, because that's going to be coming out of someone's pocket. Uh, And so you're going to see a lot of these people are going to be around 35% living at home with their parents, and buying a house, getting married, and having kids are all being delayed 5 to 8 years. That's pretty crazy. It's a pretty staggering number for this generation of people. Um, the gap between the rich and the poor in the United States grows every year. How can you save 6 months of reserve for your family when you can't even pay for the kids' college or get out of debt? Now, I'm talking about personal debt, not business debt. Two separate things, two massive big things. I want to stress that, because you can use debt for businesses to generate income. Debt is cheap. Money is cheap right now. So especially in real estate, and you're doing you're purchasing some properties, and you want to make an income on some of these commercial sites. Money's cheap right now. So I mean, having business debt is okay unless you over leverage yourself. Then you're hurting, but it's more risky. But personal debt is where us Americans have an issue. We tend to way overspend, because it's so easy to do, and we're over leveraged. And then we got to file bankruptcy. We can't pay for anything, and that overall hurts the economy, because you're stiffing somebody. When you do that, you're stiffing somebody. You're stiffing a company. You're stiffing a small business somewhere. So it's going to be hurting someone somewhere down the way. Um, so if this is you, when you have a problem with income, you need to make more money. Increase your income is the only way to solve your financial problems. Sounds like a stupid question, right? You say, duh, I need to raise my income. Uh, why not stick to a budget? Some of these people will say. Some of you guys are listening going, well, stick to the budget. Got to have a budget. Got to have balance. Yeah, right. If your income is high enough, and a budget won't matter, because you're paying everything with cash, no credit. That's the key. All right, guys, that's a big leap right there. That's a lot of discipline. That's tough. I personally do not have one credit card in my name, fully in my name. Now, I have one credit card that my wife took out, and I'm a signer on one card, and I use that for groceries sometimes when I'm out and about. That's it. I don't have any other personal debt. Everything else is through the business. My business will collect debt, but also makes income. So uh, it is important that when you do something, you definitely want to pay everything in cash. Save for it, have a plan for it, and make some adjustments in your lifestyle. That's what you really got to do, and it's tough to do that. I know. Um, uh, Working more is kind of the name of the game, because of this economy and because of what's going on. That's why I even wrote this book. So that's why you got to increase your income. If you're going to increase your income, the only way you're going to increase your income is if you increase your workday. You increase your workday, you increase your productivity, period. You got to make do 10 times. You got to go after 10 times the amount of what you originally want. Like I said in the previous chapter, I was shooting for 200 in sales, and my real goal was 20,000 in sales, and I doubled it. Because I was reaching for a really high goal, but I surpassed my original. So you got to really, if you want to increase your income, you really got to increase your day. But you really do got to learn how to integrate, and that's what I'm going to help you with right now. So we're going to go a little bit more into this. Most people don't know they have an income problem, because they're so used to living on financial edge. They're comfortable making X amount of money every year, paying their bills, and putting things on credit. That's the new normal. Absolutely, that's the new normal. People in credit cards, you pay one credit card with another credit card. Yeah, I mean, you're just moving money around. That is normal for the majority of Americans. Like I said, there's no such thing as middle class America. No such thing. If you have a bunch of debt, you're not middle class. It means you're poor. You're a different kind of poor. You have more money than the real poverty people, the people that are really living in poverty. Sure, you do, because you live in America. Uh, but you're cash poor. If you're worried about money and you're worried about things and you have to budget, oh man, I mean, then yeah, man, if you're budgeting so you can make investments and so you can get out of it and have that freedom, that's the way to go. But that's the new normal, and we gotta start thinking differently. I used to be like that. I had that same mindset. I was doing better than my parents had ever done. So what was wrong with that? I soon realized that if I kept thinking like that, I was never going to have the freedom I wanted. Financial freedom is huge. Absolutely. Unbelievable. And I definitely want to be a good example of my kids for that. The You want to have that freedom to not worry about it. I don't want to go to a store and say, "Ooh, I gotta ask my wife. I don't know if I can buy that." I don't care. I want to. I don't. Money is just. I don't love money, but I love what the freedom it gives you. The freedom to not worry about a bunch of little stuff. There's bigger things to worry about in life. Someday my goal is to have enough money where I can go. Well, before I get into that, I really want you to understand what my thought process here. So I'm going to tell you about one of my big goals and financially. So when I've been to, well, first of all, I've been super poor when I was young, really poverty poor, and and still to this day, I've gone down to certain places in town where we're at, and people are really poverty poor, and they have their kids, and I see their look. It is so heartbreaking. The parents have that look of defeat, that of life is rough, yeah, and it could be because maybe they were on drugs and they made a bunch of bad decisions. But the kids are, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 years old. I'm looking at them, and I look at them. I see that's your future. Their future is what their parents are going to do, and that's sad. And to me, that's the most heartbreaking thing in the world, is to see these kids um, not really have a chance unless they get pulled out of the situation somehow, out of that environment, and taught something different. The only reason I can identify with that because I was in that situation. The situation that my mom was absolutely great. She was a hard worker, and that's what I saw. And she wasn't defeated. So, but we lived in a very poor area, and when we moved out of that poor area, it was such a massive mindset difference. Now, of course, I could have done better in life if I wish I had a mentor, but no big deal. I did great anyways. But what I would love to do is to have so much financial freedom that when I see these kids, these parents, and I see them all the time, I know you do too, that I can just go right up to them and tell them, look, your kid is wonderful. Here's a card. Let's register him. Let's get him into college. I have his college. I will pay for his college tuition. Period. And I want to do that with a ton of kids. I want to give them that scholarship. So when the parents see that, they know that, hey, my kid could go to college. We got to get him through high school first. So we got to get him through high school. And they will. God, I would hope so. But they know, and that kid will have an opportunity. I want to be able to go to all these poor kids and tell them, make it to college, because you will pave the way for that. Or even better, pave the way for right now. Get out of the situation right now. You need to go. You're in middle school, 6th grade. you know what, there's a great private school over here, tuition's on me. Let's get you going. Let's get out of that situation. Let's get you going and onto a better path. Now that's my goal. That's what motivates me. Now I know the byproduct of that, of doing all that, I'm taking care of my kids and I'm taking care of my family and we're going to do well and that's fine. But it's not all about, I feel that it's not all about, I'm not here on this earth to serve just one. I'm here to serve many. I'm here to serve as much as I can. So the only thing that I feel that I can do is make as much money as I can so I can change as many kids' mental outlook on life as much as I can. So that's what pumps me up. So my mindset is definitely different, and financial freedom is huge. But in order to get financial freedom, it's tough. There's a lot of ups and downs, and I've had so many downs, and I've had a lot of ups, thank God. But at the same time, my body, my mind took a big toll, and there was a time where, man, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I even went to the doctor. I've had all these EKGs and nuclear stress tests, all kinds of stuff, and I realized, man, what's going on is stupid. I'm young. I shouldn't be like this. But I forgot to take care of myself. Here I'm in the fitness arena. I forgot to take care of my health. How stupid is that? So I had to get with the program. I had to change things up, and I hope you change things up too. You need to think about what's big for you. What's going to motivate you? Because no matter if you're working for yourself or if you're working for an individual, I mean, you need to be dominant in what you're doing. So I'm making more money than I've ever have, but I still have to worry about my obligations because my income is not high enough. I have a nice house, two successful businesses, wife, a wonderful wife, and 3 amazing kids. And I hope to have more, honestly. I hope to have as many as I can. I want to adopt. If I can adopt 100 kids, I will. I know it sounds crazy, but someone's got to do it. Might as well be me. I have hardworking employees, and that's the truth. I got some awesome employees. I have a lot of obligations there. That's a lot of responsibility. You may have some of those responsibilities as well. In order for me to be financially secure and compete every day in the 19-hour grind, I have to step up my game and optimize my health. Why? Because my body is the engine, my mind is the engine to my success because it's part of my business. What operates your business or your career? Your body, your mind, your eyes, your feet, your heart, your everything is intertwined. Your health and your wealth are one and the same. And the faster you understand that and get that, the more you're going to be able to dominate and compete. It's very frustrating to see these people so unhealthy. They're about to kill over, but they have a pretty decent sized business. But they just basically traded a good business for their life because they're about to kick the bucket. So I mean, you shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't have to sacrifice that way. And if you focus now and change it now, not only are you going to be really successful in what you're doing because you're going to have the energy, you're going to have the mental capacity, you're just going to be on fire for what you're doing, your complete projects, you're just going to go 100% all the time and no one's going to be able to touch you, is because you optimize your health instead of forgetting about it, because if you feel okay, you must be okay, which is a complete crock. Every day when I wake up at 2:30 a.m. to start my day, I say to myself, especially when I don't want to get up, I need to be 10 times as active today to reach my goals. Then I say, my success is my duty. There are more people these days being forced to work longer days. I feel it's my obligation as a nutritionist and an entrepreneur to help. And I do, guys. I totally feel it's my duty and obligation, because your success is many people's success. Your success and whatever you're doing is your family's success, or the charities you're going to be going after, the charities you're going to be involved with. All those are all connected. So if I can get you guys to optimizing your health so you can live a longer life and be a bad, you know what, awesome person in your business, in your career, then that's just going to have a trickle down effect of affecting so many people. So whatever passion you have for giving, that's just going to blow up. That's just going to blow. Whatever touches your heart on far as, giving back, that is going to be blown up because you're going to do so well. I have some notes on the back of this one, and just to get, I want you to think about a few things. What really hit you? What are you passionate about? Besides making more money and doing more for your family or whatever your career is, what touches you enough to like, oh my God, we must change the world. We must change everything. We must change. I have to do this. Write that down. It's good to have something that you're gonna put down, then you're gonna remember later on. So next chapter 3. So that was a quick little chapter. That was nice. So I hope you guys are enjoying this book so far. I really enjoyed writing it, and I'm going to really enjoy teaching you more things. So I'm not the strongest, and I may not be the fastest, but I'll be darned if I'm not trying my hardest. Absolutely. Chapter 3. Whatever it takes, performance is key. The only way you're going to conquer the 19-hour daily grind is if you optimize your body so you can be at peak performance all day long. You must think of yourself like an athlete ready to play a 24/7 game. You must train, plan so you can win. Absolutely. Performance is key, guys. Performance is the way to go. I mean, you must be obsessed with this, guys. Get obsessed. It's okay to be obsessed about this. Remember, you have something that's bigger than you that you have got to accomplish. So you must be obsessed about it. You must take your performance and bring it up. And you must think of yourself as an athlete. You're playing this game of life, this game of financial freedom very seriously, and you need to play to win. One of the first mistakes I made when I opened up my business back in 2002 was that I began to think of myself as successful before I had made any real money. I knew it took hard work to make the sales, to grow my business. I was not afraid of that. I would hustle for a while, make some sales, and be satisfied. Then when I would need more money, I would start over. Yeah, that's pretty stupid. Yeah, I was pretty dumb when I was doing that. So I would go out, basically make some money, then play, go out, play, make some money. That sort of thing doesn't work. It doesn't work. I started my first business right out of high school when I was 19 years old. I failed after 2 years. For my second business, I opened up a nutrition store at the age of 23. Now, this is what I loved. I found something I loved doing. It was tough. I had a lot of close calls and almost closed my shop a few times. Later, I got into supplement manufacturing design. I started making products for my store and other franchise companies. I had some really good big breaks, but I made those breaks, guys. I made it happen. There were some beautiful blessings that I got with certain companies, and I was able to make some decent chunk of money at those times when I really needed them, and it really helped. I'm 35 now, and I still have a nutrition shop. That same shop, I still got it, And I still manufacture and design nutrition products. And I do. I don't do as much anymore. I still take in some clients. Um, I don't. That's very time consuming to do a whole product design. And right now, I just don't have the time to do that. But I make products for our company all the time, and new formulas. When I look back at the mistakes I made, I remember all the hard times, the struggles, the frustrations. I couldn't make my business work. When I think about those days of frustration I felt, it came down to one thing. I was broken down physically. Wow, man, big time. That was a huge, huge, excuse my words. Sometimes I do slur my words. That was a huge aha moment for me. And when I looked at it, when I looked at my life and all these businesses or these projects I was starting, um, I really was spread too thin, and it was too hard on me. I hated it. I got frustrated. So this is very important. I want you guys to really hear this out. During all those years I was planning and working on sales and marketing ideas, I bombed out on most of them. And it was because I was mentally fatigued. When when your mind goes, your body will follow, and vice versa. I will give myself a goal to call 50 or 100 potential clients, but I would only get about 10. After that, I was exhausted. After helping my existing clients and doing copywriting and the other dozen of other business owners do, I was mentally and physically beat. This would bring to an end of any brainstorming or marketing or sales idea. Worse, listen to this. Worse, I lost interest. Absolutely. So think about it. Is there a project that you're really gun ho about that you knew if you did this project that it was going to turn out to be great, but it turned out to be a lot harder than what you expected? It turned out it was tough, took a lot more energy. So when your energy was being drained, you lost interest. You said, screw it. I don't need to do this. And I did that. I'll give you a perfect example of of what I did, and I lost interest, but all the numbers were right. If I stuck it out and done it better and worked 10 times harder, it would have been huge. So I started a magazine uh, about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and it was called 3XD magazine. I believe it was called 3XD. No, 3XD. I think it was called that. It's been a while. Well, anyways, this was a free magazine that I put out and that I would distribute. I have a distributor go in all the Walmarts around town and a bunch of other areas around town. You know where you see the apartment guide section? Well, it went in there. And it was the magazine was beautiful. I did the design. It was beautiful. I was a one-man army doing that. So this was on top of me doing my ACL wholesale company where I was in 200 stores and also running my nutrition shop. So I'm running a nutrition shop, which is a full-time gig, more than a full-time gig, and I'm running a company that was called American Cellular Labs, and at the time we're in 200 stores. That's also more than a full-time gig. So I'm wearing a lot of hats there. So now I started up a magazine and I did all the numbers. All the numbers, the marketing plan, everything was beautiful. The numbers came out great. This was a home run. So when you start a magazine, I was the editor, I was the designer, I was the guy that set up the distribution points with the company, I was the accountant, I was everything. And what happened? I was spread way too thin. I mean, the design alone is huge. I mean, that's a lot. It was a 100-page magazine. There's a lot of pages, or was it maybe 80 to 100 pages? And there's a lot of content. Well, that's a lot of content. Where I'm going to get that content from? So I hired um, a company that had all this great entertainment and news, and this was a lifestyle magazine that was like for sports as well. So I was trying to be a little bit on sports, some extreme sports with supplements and some lifestyle stuff. It's really cool, and some entertainment. So I contacted this big company that already was writing a bunch of articles, and they had a ton of it. And I told them I basically want to take their website and put it in a magazine form. And there was a lot of interesting things. And the issue was I had one salesperson, and I should have been the salesperson, but how could I? I was wearing all these hats. I tried to, but it wouldn't work. So the way we made money was we sold advertisement inside the magazine because it was free, and we would print out 2,000 magazines around town and let people have. So we were kind of like an advertisement agency, but it didn't work out. I was spread too thin. I was spread way too thin. I was exhausted mentally and physically. Exhausted. Now, I should have really optimized my health. Felt great. Should have felt. I should have done so many different things there, but I couldn't because I was associating all this work to hardship. And after a while, I said, "Screw this. I'm tired. I'm done. I'm tired." I totally lost interest. But if I wasn't, if I was gun ho, and my mental capacity was that my physical body was good, what I would have done is would have snapped out of it, fired that salesperson, would have done sales myself, and would have outsourced everything, my design and all my content, and say, hey, you do this and give me this magazine at the end of the month. And I'm going to go through it and read through it. I could have streamlined it so much differently, but I was exhausted and tired, and it was done. Well, anyways, that's the example I have for this. Kind of long-winded. Might be interested. I just wanted to let you so you can see kind of my thought process with some of this. You don't want to lose interest. What you have right now, what you're thinking, is probably a great idea. You just got to run with it, and your body's got to be conditioned so you can kick some butt. Two things to keep in mind as you start planning your routine and optimizing your health. Okay, but first I'm going to go back over here. Let's start. This is a good area to start. Two things to keep in mind as you start planning your routine and optimizing your health. Now, this is big. Now, I want you to pay close attention here. Close attention. Now, how many people have, this is where basically the whole book is all about right here, guys. So, this is a big one. Most people will tell you need to balance your life. You got to have a good balance. Balance your work, balance your family, balance God, balance this, balance your sleep. You got to have all this balance. Balance, yay. Kumbaya, right? You got to have all this balance. Balance is a complete baloney. And managing. You got to manage your time so you have good balance. You got to have good balance so you can manage your time. Like, no, it's all stupid. You don't balance or manage. That's just one more thing I got to schedule that I don't have time for. I don't know how to do it. This is going to be key, guys. This is going to be key. You don't balance your work, your family, etc. You integrate them in your 19-hour window. Forget about balancing. You will go crazy and nothing will get done. Yeah, you're probably saying, yeah, I know. What do I mean about integrating everything into your 19-hour window? Well, let's first look at what integrate means. Integrate means to come together, incorporate, be a part of. For example, my family is part of my work. We have family goals and targets, the targets I must reach in order for me to help my family. That's why my wife must keep the home life organized and on point with the kids so I don't have to worry about it. So You get what I'm saying? You have your window of time. You can't balance everything out. It's just nuts there. It's chaotic. You'll see in my plan that I'm going to integrate everything. I gotta have my goals, gotta have my targets, I gotta have my workouts because that's part of my being healthy and being a performance and dominating the market. I gotta have my 24-hour schedule because in that 24-hour schedule I gotta have sleep. I gotta have my family. I gotta eat right. I gotta do my workouts. I gotta have my daily meetings and my sales and all these different other hunter schedule stuff I know I must do. So I don't balance nothing. I integrate. My family knows our goals because we go over it, and I have to go out. I have to go after those goals, those targets. I got to hit those targets. My kids know financially what kind of stuff we need to do, and they tell me, and they don't get on my case if I come home a little late one night. Oh yeah, he's out there working because we have a family goal that we need to reach. They're part of the. They're part of that decision. You know, it is amazing when you get your family on board with what you're doing, then you guys work as a system, you guys work as a whole, and that's the way to do it. My wife, she's unbelievable. She deals with the kids, all their little problems, their schoolwork, their activities, their feeding them, the shopping, all the millions of things that she has to do. And plus, she has a business on top of that, a big business. And she's like super mom, super CEO. You know, so I mean, she takes care of that, so I don't have to. All I have to do is just deposit money. She could pay the bills. I don't have time to pay bills. I don't have time to make my bed. I don't have time to do none of that. All I have time to do is one thing: is create a big enough income because I have a big enough goal that's worthy of hitting: financial freedom. And what I said my financial freedom was, my big goal that's worth hitting: helping as many poor kids as I can with college education. You know, someday I want to die broke. I want to die broke because I'm giving all my money and all these kids are doing well because we got them out of that mindset of poverty mindset. That's a goal worth hitting for me. And it's worth some sacrifice and it's worth doing more. But in order for me to do that, like I said, we have to optimize your health. The second thing I want you to understand before you start optimizing your health is that this book is not about to work more or neglect your family. If your home life is not right, your business life will be off. Your family is the most important part of your life. That's why you're reading this book, so you can improve your business life without neglecting your health. This book will enable you to achieve peak performance so that when you do see your family, you're not exhausted. I want my kids to see me healthy and energized so they can feel energized. Your family doesn't want to be around a grumpy, sad, worn out person. So I mean, you don't want to do all this activity to, you know, all this so you can have financial freedom and go home and you're worthless to your family. No, you still got to keep it up. Still got to keep up the energy. You still got to keep up because your kids want to play with you. That's focus time. When your kids are there, you focus on them. You got to have that energy. Where are you going to get it from? All right? You better be in physically fit condition, mentally and physically, to do that. All right, so we're going to get started now. So we're going to get into the meat of some of this book on on uh, on optimizing your health. And part of this is going to be your self-image and what you need to do to get started. So the first thing you must do is look at yourself. Think about it. If you're not as confident in your clothes because you're a little or a lot overweight, then that will be the first thing we address while optimizing your health. Then I mean, you don't want to be in a sales meeting or you don't want to do a presentation if you don't feel good in your clothes. Your performance is not going to be great. And I don't want to hear, well, I'm comfortable in my body. I'm comfortable, and here you are, 100 pounds overweight. I'm not trying to sound mean, and it's good that you're comfortable, but you dig deep on how you truly feel. Dig deep. All right? So we got to address some of these issues because it could turn into a medical issue later on. You don't want that. All right, guys, I have a disclaimer there. Read that disclaimer. Gotta read it. Okay, so let's get into some basic nutrition. All right, so let's look at ourselves. We want to be physically fit. If you're already physically fit and you're all leaned up and you feel good in your clothes, and that really is not an issue, it really isn't, then move on to the next chapter on that we're not optimizing your self-image. So go to chapter 4. You should and go from there. But we're going to go over some basic nutrition so you can understand. Cause I'm going to give you some nutrition plans that you need to understand why I'm doing it. So some basic nutrition you need to understand. First, you need to know about regular nutrition before sports nutrition. Sports nutrition is like the supplementation part, the engineered food you're gonna that is out there. So basic nutrition, you can have carbohydrates, fats, protein, vitamins, minerals, and water. Okay, carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are anything that is grown from the ground. So easy way to think about it. Anything grown from the ground is going to be a carbohydrate. So what fits that? Wheat. So you're going to make bread out of, pastas, all that. Fruits have a lot of carbs, even some vegetables. But some vegetables are better because they have more fiber. But fruits, a lot of fructose there. So remember, anything grown from the ground is going to be carbohydrates. Fats, you're going to have a couple different kind of fats. You're going to have your bad trans fats and your regular good fats. That's going to be heart healthy. This is the kind of fat I love to use. Now, I put in the book a lot. Extra virgin coconut oil, cold press. You want to use that fat. So all the stuff that I'm talking about in this book about fats, that's the fat you want to use. Why? Because it acts like a medium chain triglyceride fat where it's not going to really store as fat, but it's going to give you energy, mental energy. So this really good, and plus it speeds up your metabolism. That's the kind of fat you want. Stay away from all the lard and grease fats and stuff. You don't need none of that. The bacon and all that kind of junk. Protein, anything that walks, runs, or flies. So remember that. Protein, anything that walks, runs, or flies. So cows, pigs, chickens, all those fish, all those or swims are proteins. And there are some good proteins. I like chicken, and I always recommend chicken or lean ground turkey, or you can have like white fish, like mahi. Mahi is like one of the best. Tilapia is okay. It stinks though. And salmon is good once in a while because it has some good fats, but you don't want to be eating that all day long. So because it's still fatty. Uh, so I mean, if you do a mahi mahi, which is really good, 4 to 6 ounces, depending if you're a man or a female. So I suggest that. Vitamins. Yes, we need to always supplement vitamins just because our foods don't carry as much. Our foods are pretty watered down, guys. There are some pretty staggering numbers that are in our food industry, and we're not getting the proper amount of nutrients like those kind of vitamins, certain minerals that we should be getting, even if it's organic. I don't care if it's organic. I mean, no, it doesn't matter. You always will be deficient in some kind of vitamin, especially if you're working hard and you're training hard. you really need to really up your doses there. And when it comes to vitamins, supplementing vitamins, I put that in the book under something you can look at that will help you cover all those. Minerals as well. Water, you need to drink a decent amount of water. So I always suggest 60, 80 ounces of water a day, a gallon a day. Even I know it's tough. It's tough for everyone. Even I have a hard time sometimes with a gallon of water a day. I forget about it, really. I really do. Sometimes I forget and like, oh, I got to drink all my water. And I start drinking the water. But try to. If you can shoot for a gallon, great. And then shoot for a gallon. So let's look at sports nutrition. Sports nutrition is basically your supplements, your engineered food. As you start your 19-hour workday, you're going to need nutrients that can be delivered to your body faster than your own body can naturally take them in. Let's face it, in order to get the nutritional value that you're going to need to fuel yourself, you can't eat that much in a day. And it's true. I mean, if you're a bodybuilder and that's all you do, then great. I mean, you are going to have to pre-pack your foods and stuff. But I mean, keep it basic, guys. I mean, don't overcomplicate things. Now some of these diets that I have in here and the way we're doing this, we're not trying to get ready for a show. We're not trying to get ready for a competition or a marathon. We're trying to dominate your day so you can be awesome and have great mental power and can think throughout the all day, not have fatigue, but also be heart healthy and your body feels good. But also, I'm of course, I am addressing self-image as well. So if you need to drop, and that's going to be that's going to affect your health quite a bit. So if you need to drop weight, let's drop some weight. But the sports nutrition is nutritional supplementation should be part of your fitness program, which it is now, but you have to be smart about it. That's why I made this guide to help you with the proper protocols that will be proven to help you optimize in your nutrition. Excuse me. I give you those protocols. There's only some basic supplements you need to be on. Excuse me. Some basic supplements you need to be on. I mean, it's really tough to be eating all day. I know I don't want to be having to nuke something every 2 to 3 hours and eat it. It's a pain in the butt. That's why I do shakes as well. And I mean, I'm busy. I don't have time to be driving down the street with another chicken, another fish, then I'm spilling it on my shirt. I mean, come on. You know, we don't have time for that. I'm not competing. If we're competing, then yes, then that's all we do. But if you notice, people that compete are all brain dead, and they don't bring much value there. They get a little tough. So I go a little over protein, carbs, and fats, and some statistics about coconut fats. So the coconut fat's going to be really good, especially during a low carb diet. Helps you. We're going to help you with brain function, so you won't be so lethargic. And you'll need it. It'll help you and be energized. So it is proven you'll like it, and we can go from there. Okay, so I have some very, very basics on some nutrition. Now we're going to start structuring this. Now we're going to start structuring a way to eat and why to eat, and we're going to first address losing some inches. Let's lose some inches. Let's feel great. And in chapter 4 and 5, we're going to get really into optimizing your health. All right, guys? All right, so right now, get up, move around a little bit, get a protein shake, and take some Alive Hyperdrive so you can get mentally geared for this next chapter. All right, guys, see ya on the next one.